Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at switch case, which for those of you who are big fans of C, C#, C++, Java, you're like, oh thank God, somebody actually finally did match and switch case here. Nice. So what we're going to be doing here today is looking at how we can make an if statement a little bit cleaner when we have a lot of different possible options, but still very discrete options. Then we're going to show you how you can blow it up by putting functions into the answers. Oh boy, that gets complicated. Let's do it. So let's go ahead and create something really, really simple here. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves a number here. We'll do 64 just for consistency here. And we're going to just do a quick little thing here. We're going to say if number equals 64, print best number ever. Number ever. Eva, sorry. Let's see, if number is less than 64, print those numbers are a little low. Actually, no, let's be a little more careful here. I'll say if number equals, let's pick another number. Print, that's a lucky number, I think. And then we'll go throw another one in there. We'll say if number equals, let's see here. I'm going to go too funny here, 0. Print, you tempt me with nothing. And of course, print, that's a good number. I suppose that's a good number. Nice. So we got ourselves a nice little kind of ladder here. We're saying if then, oh, see what I did there? Fixed. So what I'm saying here is if my number is 64, and we kind of have a little list. Let's go ahead and give that a little run here. Best number ever, correct. Now if I set this to 7, I can expect it's a lucky number, I think. I like that. If I set this to 0, you can see you tempt me with nothing. And if I do -1, of course, it's going to say, I suppose that's a good number. If we want it to be cleaner, we can make this an F string and make this all pretty, but that's okay. So this is an okay format. Obviously, as this thing gets a little longer, this starts to get really, really, really messy. So one of the nice things they do is you can actually do matching to make this a little bit simpler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this entire statement utilizing the match syntax. I'll say match syntax, make it a little easier for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aha. So to do this, I'm simply going to go ahead and write myself a handy dandy little case. So to do that, I'm going to type in the word match. Then I'm going to type in the value I'm looking at. In my case, I'm matching number. I'm going to do myself a colon here, press enter. Now what we're going to do is define each case individually. Now these cases have to be only true, so you have to be kind of careful with this. So case 64. So let's be nice and lazy as always here. Go enter. Ha-ha. Bam. Case 7. We'll just go steal my code for myself. Why not? Because science. Whoa, don't do that to me. Tab. We'll go ahead and grab myself 0 here. Case 0. Whoa, case 9. Well, 9's a pretty good number. I used to have that one back in school. I'll go ahead and do this. And uh-oh. How do we do else? Oh no, how do we do else? Well, the good news is else is actually pretty easy. We simply define ourselves an underscore case. So I come here and I do case underscore. Isn't this the ugliest thing you've ever seen in Python here? And we can come in here and go ahead and print just like that. Of course, we have to fix our tabs here. And now we are groovy. So you can see here, I'm matching my number, which again, same thing as this. And I'm checking all these individual values, and I'm going to go ahead and pop it. So if I run it, it should say it's the best number ever twice on account of the fact that it is. No, because our syntax is written correctly. So that's just kind of one of those things that you just have to be sort of mindful of when you're using it. Now you're sitting here going, well, this is a little hard to use because like I lose my greater than and less than, all those other fun things that I do in an if statement. And I totally agree with you there. And one of the nice things about this is if you're doing like a menu and you have 15 options on the menu, case 1, do this thing. Case 2, do this thing. Case 3, do this thing. And it'll give you the ability to basically kind of navigate around the different cases depending on what you want to do. Now, where this gets really, 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 really interesting, and one of the things I really love, is this is actually more flexible than it actually looks. Let's go ahead and imagine for a second that we want to go ahead and create a XY point. We'll go ahead and keep this nice and simple here. Let's go ahead and I'm just trying to visualize here the best way to do it. We're going to just create a point. And my point here, we're going to do this as a tuple. Don't panic. 5, 5. That's a pretty good pun. Don't panic. It's just a fancy way of holding values. It's nothing bad. So I'm going to create a tuple called point, and it's going to set a value of 5, 5. What I want to try to do here is find some things about this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to simply type in match point, just like we did before. But this time, I'm going to make my cases a little different. I'm going to say case, left parenthesis, 0, 0. Let's see here. If my point is 0, 0, because we're allowed to check to see if these are the same, print origin, my friend. I'll just make it nice and simple like that. Let's see what else we can do here. If we have one of the x, let's see if y is 0. I think we're crossing. Yeah, we can work that out. Let's say the only thing that we know is that our y is 0. Well, let's see here. That would be a value. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Let's see, print. I'm just trying to think here. Let's see, our x-axis is at, this would be x, I guess, technically. Well, we should probably make this an f string because this won't work too well. Boop. Now your brain is going, whoa, my guy, slow down. Where did this x come from? This x is this value. So basically our x-axis would be at 5. Accurate? Let's create ourselves another example. If we have across the y-axis at 0 here, print f y-axis is at, this would be, did I do y? I did y. That's perfectly fine. I'm allowed to do that. Now, let's see here. Case x comma y, this would be a standard case. This simply would say that it doesn't have any of this stuff up here. We would say print, let's see here, this would be point is at, oh boy. We're dealing with a tuple here. So, we can just do x comma y. Why am I being silly here? Super. And let's say we want to get a little more complicated. We'll say this is the open case here. Print, let's see here. I'll do something kind of ironic. You done goofed. That looks pretty good to me. Cool. Let's take a look here. Here's our point. Here, That looks good. Chickadee check before you riggedy wreck. Let's go give that a run. And you'll see our point is at 5, 5, which checks because we know that the point is 5, 5, and one of the values is not a 0. Let's go ahead and make this a 0. Let's see what happens. Aha, the y-axis is at 5. Remember high school. Let's go ahead and come over here and make that one 0. X-axis is at 5. Nice. It's almost like we planned this. Let's do a 0, comma 0 here. Whoa, careful in insert mode. Code destroyed. Press 0, 0. Origin, my friend. Or origin, or Oregon. Oregon Trail. All right, that's pretty good. And of course, let's do something naughty here. Ooh, can't do that. It's got to be a variable. Let's go try that real fast. And the x-axis is an A. Oh, I forgot that was going to come up as a value of 0. Sigh. I'd have to come back and clean this one up a little bit. But yes, we could get away with stuff like that. But it's just giving you an idea of just how much more flexible you can actually make these different programs if you want to. Now, what some people actually do is you're sitting here going, okay, okay, this is okay. I can kind of get the hang. I think this example was a little too extreme. You probably should have done something a little bit simpler. Actually, the best way to do this is just to do, let's make this 5. That should break it. Aha! I broke it. I knew what I was doing. You're saying, this is getting a little extreme, but like, I really like the syntax. It's so easy to use. Like, remember when you did ranges a minute ago? Like, I can't do the ranges with this. Actually, you can. And that's where things get a little bit interesting. So let's go ahead and create ourselves another example. I'm going to create myself a number. Again, now we'll go back to 64. And yes, you're saying, hey, I've already defined it as 64. Yeah, I'm just doing it for clarity here. How would we determine if this number was like what we did over in the ranges activity last time? We can do that. Let's do it. So same thing. I'm going to go ahead and say match number. And this time I'm going to say case x. Now you're sitting here going, what is x? X is just a temporary variable. If x is less than 0. Oh, print the value is negative. See this? Case x, if x is greater than 0, print the value is positive. And of course we can go case, well, mathematically you're saying, well, obviously if it's 0, it's 0. Case x, if x equals 0, print the number is 0. And of course, we'll put our default case here. Print, you broke it. You broken it. I like that too. You broke it. Let's go ahead and see what happens here. So now what we've done is we've created basically a fake variable saying this is true if it's less than 0, print this. This is true if it's greater than 0, print this. If it equals 0, of course, do that. And of course, if we have this one, we'll break it. So if I run my code here, you'll notice it says the number is positive because we're taking 64, shoving it into here and saying this temporary value has that value if that value is less than. Kind of cool, huh? So if I actually were to come in here and do a minus 64 and run it, you'll notice it recognizes it as negative. If I were to come in here and make it 0, you'll notice that the number is 0. And of course, if I put the letter A here, for example, you will notice that it blows up because I'm not allowed to say is something less than. So that's just one of those little details that you have to be kind of mindful of. We'd actually have to put another protection in here, basically for the purposes of making sure we didn't do that. This case is actually mathematically impossible to get. Like, I'm trying to visualize where we'd actually get to this case without causing this kind of an error. And I'm going to have to kind of think about that a little bit to figure out how we could possibly get at it. But the reality is you're very, very unlikely to hit this because you can't ever compare a string and an integer. So as you can see, the match switch case here is really, really cool stuff. And it adds a lot of flexibility and makes your code a lot cleaner depending on what it is you're trying to achieve. Now, I use these almost exclusively when I start doing things with menus. These are my individual menu options and I can kind of bounce between them in order to basically grab all the different stuff that I need and not have just be able to throw another case on there if I need to. Personally, in my opinion, I feel that this is starting to get a little complicated when you start building individual ifs inside of your if. It's like ifception is what you've got going on there. This is a little bit better of a case, but even this one is a little goofy, and you really have to be comfortable with tuples to kind of see what I'm going at. This stuff, on the other hand, is great, and you can see exactly how you're able to get those specific options, like dialing numbers in a menu, kind of a thing like that, for them. Enjoy.